training, and recruitment support, thereby significantly enhancing the professionalism and institutional capacity of the armed forces of Liberia. Now, therefore, in recognition of his extraordinary service, exemplary leadership, and enduring contribution to the development and professionalism of the armed forces of Liberia, I, Joseph Nyeman Boakai, Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, do hereby decorate and confer the Distinguished Service Order to Brigadier General Owuchu Nimbe Ijika. Your exemplary service to international military cooperation and security sector development reflects great credit upon yourself, your family, the Nigerian Army, the Economic Community of West African States, and the Armed Forces of Liberia, given this 11th day of February 2026. The next officer to follow shortly is Colonel Eric Igbesi Kwesi Akafia. Citation for Distinguished Service Order. Colonel Eric Igbesi Kwesi Akafia, an outstanding officer of the Ghana Armed Forces with nearly 3 decades of military service, has rendered exceptionally and meritorious service to the Republic of Liberia through distinguished leadership, strategic adversary support, and unwavering commitment to regional peace and security. Commissioned into the Army Corps in August 1998, Colonel Akafia has served for over 27 years, holding key operational, command, institutional, and strategic appointments across Africa and the Middle East. His career is marked by operational excellence, intellectual depth, and professional diplomacy at national, regional, and international levels. Of particular significance to Liberia, Colonel Akafia served with distinction as Deputy Senior ECOWAS Military Advisor to the Armed Forces of Liberia from 2019 to 2022, and earlier as a senior officer with the United Nations mission in Liberia, UNMIL. In this role, he contributed decisively to the post-conflict rebuilding and professionalization of the armed forces of Liberia. His efforts included contribution to the development of the national defense and security policy, review of key defense legislation and regulations, strengthening of interagency coordination, and the training and monitoring of armed forces of Liberia officers and commanders. Through his contributions to United Nations peacekeeping operations, support to Liberia transition from peacekeeping to national security self-reliance, senior command and staff appointments within the Ghana Armed Forces, and scholarly work of African security and civil military relations, Colonel Akafia has brought great credit upon himself, the Ghana Armed Forces, ECOWAS, and the Republic of Liberia. Now, therefore, in recognition of his distinguished service, exceptional leadership, and invaluable contributions to the peace, security, and institutional development of the Republic of Liberia, I, Joseph Nyeman Boakai, Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, do hereby decorate and confer the Distinguished Service Order to Colonel Eric Igbesi Kwesi Akafia. Your exemplary service stands as a lasting symbol of international military cooperation and steadfast dedication to Liberia's peace and security, reflecting distinct credit upon yourself, your family, your country, and the armed forces of Liberia, given this 11th day of February 2026. The next to follow is Lieutenant Colonel Yusufu Sanko. Citation for Distinguished Service Order. Lieutenant Colonel Yusufu Sanko, a distinguished officer of the Sierra Leonean Armed Forces, ASLAF, rendered exceptionally meritorious service to the Republic of Liberia through steadfast dedication, professional excellence, and unwavering commitment to peace, security sector reform, and post-conflict stabilization over a long and honorable military career. He was commissioned into the Republic of Sierra Leone Armed Forces on the 2nd July 2005 at the Armed Forces Training Center, Benguman, Freetown. Lieutenant Colonel Sako held a wide range of command, instructional, intelligence, and staff appointments. Over the course of his career, he has completed numerous military courses, locally and internationally. Some of the international courses are Operational Civil Military Cooperation Course, Humanitarian Peace Support School, Ibakisa, Kenya. He has further enhanced his expertise in counterterrorism and intelligence by completing terrorism studies at the Navy Postgraduate School in Monterey, California, USA. Lieutenant Colonel Sanko was seconded to the Armed Forces of Liberia as a member of the ECOWAS Advisory Training Team during the critical post-conflict restructuring of the Liberian military. Serving as a mentor and advisor, he provided invaluable guidance on training, organization, doctrine, and institutional reform of the Armed Forces of Liberia. His efforts contributed directly to strengthening a professional and disciplined Armed Forces of Liberia. Lieutenant Colonel Yusufu Sanko has also served with the first batch of Sierra Leone Sector Reconnaissance Company to Unime, Sudan. His professionalism and dedication brought lasting credit to himself, the Sierra Leonean Armed Forces, and the Republic of Liberia. Now, therefore, in recognition of his distinguished service, enduring commitment, and invaluable contribution to the peace and security of the Republic of Liberia, I, Joseph Newman Wakai, Senior, President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, do hereby decorate and confer the distinct service order to Lieutenant Colonel Yusuf Sanko. Your service stands as a lasting testament to international military cooperation and reflects distinct credit upon yourself, your family, your country, and the Armed Forces of Liberia, given this 11th day of February 2026. Now to Lieutenant Colonel Mohamed Abubakar. Citation for Distinguished Service Order. Lieutenant Colonel Mohamed Abubakar Siddiq, retired, a distinguished officer of the Ghana Armed Forces, rendered exceptionally meritorious service to the Republic of Liberia through steadfast dedication, professional excellence, and unwavering commitment to peace, security sector reform, and post-conflict stabilization over a long and honorable military career. He enlisted into the Ghana Armed Forces in October 1981 and commissioned into the Ghana Artillery Corps in June 1983. Lieutenant Colonel Siddiq completed 37 years of faithful service. He held a wide range of command, instructional, intelligence, and staff appointment, culminating in service at the Department of Army Intelligence and Planning at the Army Headquarters. As directing staff and later chief instructor at the Army Combat Training School, he made significant contributions to the professional training of officers and soldiers of the Ghanaian Armed Forces. Lieutenant Colonel Siddiq was seconded to the Armed Forces of Liberia as a member of the ECOWAS Advisory Training Team from 2012 to 2015 during the critical post-conflict restructuring of the Liberian military. Serving as a mentor and advisor, he provided invaluable guidance on training, organization, doctrine, and institutional reform of the Armed Forces of Liberia. His efforts contributed directly to strengthening a professional, discipline, and apolitical armed forces of Liberia. Lieutenant Colonel Siddiq also distinguished himself through multiple peace support missions in Liberia and the sub-region as a battery commander with ECOMOG during operations in Monrovia from 1990 to 1991, and later through a service with UNMIL. He ensured effective coordination with national security institutions and the protection of personnel and critical infrastructure. His professionalism and dedication brought lasting credit to himself, the Ghana Armed Forces, and the Republic of Liberia. Now, therefore, in recognition of his distinct service, enduring commitment, and invaluable contributions to the peace and security of the Republic of Liberia, I, Joseph Newman Boakai, Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, do hereby decorate and confer the Distinguished Service Order to Lieutenant Colonel Mohammed Abubakar Siddiq, retired. Your service stands as a lasting testament to international military cooperation and reflects distinct credit upon yourself, your family, your country, and the Armed Forces of Liberia, given this 11th day of February 2026. Next to follow is Mr. David K. Vington. Citation for Distinguished Service Order. Mr. David K. Vington, a distinguished Ladies and gentlemen, the fact that the honoree is absent, we have come to the end of the citation for Distinguished Service Order. Thank you very much. I'm Major Gwenyan Milton Gwenyan, the Executive Officer of the 1st Armored Recce Battalion.
I now respectfully invite the Honorable Minister of National Defense, Brigadier General Geraldine George, retired, to mount the podium to make a statement.
Your Excellency, the President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Mr. Vice President, the Honorable Speaker and members of the National Legislature, the Honorable Chief Justice and Associate Justices of the Supreme Court, Toya and the members of the Cabinet, His Excellency Honorable Teni Birahama Ouattara, Vice Prime Minister, Minister of National Defense, Republic of Cote d'Ivoire, Madam Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President, Republic of Liberia, our keynote speaker, Lieutenant General Wadi Shaibu, Chief of Staff of the Nigerian Armed Forces and his delegation, Commando L.K. Chapatia, Chief of Navy Staff, Sierra Leone Armed Forces, and his delegation, the Chief of Staff and the High Command of the Armed Forces of Liberia, member of the Diplomatic and Council Corps, Major General Paul Rogers, Adjutant General of the Michigan National Guard, General Thomas D. Wahouser, and his delegation, member of Capstone, head of security institutions and distinguished relations and traditional leaders, veterans of the Armed Forces of Liberia, officers, non-commissioned officers, enlisted personnel of the Armed Forces of Liberia, member of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. As we assemble as a grateful nation to commemorate Liberia's 69th Armed Forces Day, a solemn and proud occasion dedicated to honoring the courage, sacrifice, and professionalism of the men and women who defend our sovereignty, uphold our Constitution, and safeguard the peace and stability of our republic. On behalf of the Ministry of National Defense and the Armed Forces of Liberia, I extend my profound appreciation to His Excellency Joseph Yima Brega, President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia. Mr. President, your resolute leadership, strategic vision, and unwavering commitment to democratic surveillance oversight continue to guide the Armed Forces of Liberia as it grows into a disciplined, professional, and national respected institution. Today, we honor the memory of our fallen heroes, men and women whose ultimate sacrifice secured the survival of our continuity of our nation. The courage formed the moral foundation upon which today's Armed Forces proudly stands. We also recognize our veterans whose steadfast service through difficult chapters of our history laid the groundwork for peace, reconciliation, and institutional renewal. Liberia remains eternally grateful. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, while our nation continues to enjoy relatively peace and stability, the region and global security landscape remains complex. Transnational crime, terrorism, illicit armed trafficking, cyber threats, and the spillover effect of regional instability demands vigilance, preparedness, and professionalism. In response, the Armed Forces of Liberia remain steadfast in its constitutional mandate to defend our territorial integrity, support surveillance authorities when lawful required, and contribute to regional and international peace and security. Over the past years, the Armed Forces of Liberia has strengthened operational readiness, upheld discipline and professionalism, expanded civil military cooperation, advanced institutional development, and supported democratic government and the rule of law. These achievements reaffirm that Liberia's soldiers remain apolitical, professional, and loyal to the Constitution. Distinguished guests, 2025 was a year of steady and measurable progress. The Ministry of National Defense prioritized troop welfare, institutional governance, accountability, and the completion of key security sector reform and civil military training. These efforts contributed to strong national performance rating under the government's performance management and compliance system. Through budgetary support, the ministry completed renovation works at Camp Grant, Camp Jones, and Camp Wisner, while works at the EBK, works at the Barclay Training Center nearing completion. Renovating all military barracks across the country will improve living conditions, morale, and operational readiness. Caring for our troops is essential to national security. The ministry continues to ensure timely payment of pensions and gratuity to retired personnel. Reaffirming our commitment to the welfare of those who have served. This sustained effort restores dignity and honor a long life dedicated service. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, over the period in review, the Armed Forces of Liberia activated the 1st Armored Reconnaissance Battalion, a signal company, and the agriculture company, all of which have undertaken activities to establish operational readiness. Mr. President, the agriculture company have completed its first harvest of 125 bags of rice. An important step forward for food security and military self-sufficiency. The Liberian Coast Guard has extended maritime patrols up to 200 nautical miles offshore through collaboration with NVC Shepherd, enhancing maritime security and protecting natural resources. The 14th Military has expanded its service delivery through digital systems, new equipment, and enhanced specialized care. The establishment of a health information management system has strengthened accountability and improved healthcare outcomes. Collectively, these achievements reflect tangible progress towards national defense objectives under your leadership, sir. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, during the period under review, the Ministry of National Defense achieved a major institutional milestone with the launch of the Ministry's Strategic Plan 2026 to 2030 on January 16, 2026. The plan provides a clear roadmap for defense modernization, professional military education, strengthened surveillance oversight, sustained logistics, and enhance civil military relations. Your Excellency, distinguished guests, it is important to also note that in collaboration with UN Women, the Ministry of National Defense and the Armed Forces of Liberia have secured and launched the ELSA Initiative Fund project in the amount of $663,791 United States dollars and 81 cents, which have been approved and launched. These 2 years, the 2 years project will target support for national recruitment drive through gender-sensitive awareness and to increase the female percentage from 7% to 20%. Mr. President, I'm also pleased to report that ECOWAS through Wahoo has approved 300,000 United States dollars to construct the first military mental health wellness center in our region. That will be located at the 14th Military Hospital. The Ministry of National Defense remains committed to sustained reform, focusing on modernization, troop welfare, leadership development, gender inclusion, and accountability. These pillars are essential to maintaining a credible and professional armed forces. We remain deeply grateful to our national, regional, and international partners for their continuous support. Your contributions to training, mentoring, and capacity building continue to improve our defense sector. To the officers, men and women of the Armed Forces of Liberia, remain loyal to the Constitution, obedience to lawful surveillance authority, respect for human rights, and committed to the highest standard of discipline and professionalism. You are guardians of our sovereignty and ambassadors of our nation's unity. Today is our Armed Forces Day, a moment for all Liberians to express gratitude, admiration, and unwavering support for all the men and women who have answered the noble call to service across our land, along our coastal, and beyond our borders. AFL personnel stand watch defending our sovereignty, protecting our communities, and contributing to regional and global peace. Equally deserving of our gratitude are our military families, whose sacrifice often go unseen. Your strength sustain our armed forces and strengthen our nation. We say thank you to the military family. So every soldier, sailor, and airman proudly serving the Republic of Liberia, thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifices. The nation is proud of you and we remain forever grateful. As we commemorate this 69th Armed Forces Day, let us renew our collective commitment to unity, patriotism, and peace. Let us honor our past, strengthen our present, and secure our future. God bless the Armed Forces of Liberia. God bless the Republic of Liberia. Thank you.
The Honorable Mr. Vice President, Mr. Speaker, honorable members of the House of Representatives, Mr. Vice Premier of La Côte d'Ivoire and delegation, Your Excellency Mr. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, former President of the Republic of Liberia, Madam President Pro Tempore, and members of the Honorable House of Senate, Mr. Acting Dean, the members of the President's Cabinet, Mr. Doyen, members of the Diplomatic Corps, heads and representatives of international organizations, Mr. Guest Speaker, members of your delegation, heads of state-owned enterprises, Mr. Chief of Staff, officers, and personnel of the Armed Forces of Liberia, special guests, Retired General Waldhausen, representing the United States Marine Corps, distinguished honorees, heads, officers, and personnel of paramilitary institutions, prelates, the members of the clergy, all other invited guests, our audience in radio and television land, members of the electronic and print media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On the 69th anniversary, on the occasion of the 69th anniversary of the Armed Forces of the Republic of Liberia, I have the honor at this time to present to you His Excellency Joseph Numa Boakai, Sr., President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Republic. Mr. President.
Good morning, please have your seats. The Honorable Guest Speaker, distinguished members of the legislature, esteemed members of the judiciary, senior officers, members and women of the Armed Forces of Liberia, representatives of the joint security and other security apparatus, our international partners, fellow Liberians. On the solemn occasion of commemoration that this year's Armed Forces Day, we gather once again as one nation to pay tribute and to celebrate the gallantry of the men and women of armed forces of Liberia and our security institutions. This day is a reminder of sacrifices made and courage displayed and the unwavering commitment shown by our soldiers in defense of our sovereignty and democracy and our people. We want to thank all of those who have been honored. It's our way of saying thank you for all you've done to bring our country to where it is. It is also a day of reflection to honor the legacy of those who came before us and to renew our pledge to strengthen the armed forces. Our armed forces remain a pillar of stability, national honor. I usually say a professional institution, yet we must prepare for the future. In this regard, our government has taken action to address the challenges of high attrition rates and the natural aging of the elements of our force. My government has taken several measures to promote the dignity and integrity of our men and women in arms. Beginning 2026, this year, the annual recruitment of 600 personnel into the Army, into the Armed Forces of Liberia will commence and will run up to 2029.
Mr. Fun, Billion Fun, fly, you big fly.
Fashioning a force that reflects the diversity, resilience, and the aspiration of the Liberian people. This is a deliberate strategy to ensure that the AFL remains youthful, dynamic, and capable of responding to both traditional and emerging security threats. We recognize that the strength of our military lies not only in its training and equipment, but also in the physical and mental welfare of our personnel. In this addition to the recently renovated barracks in Maldivi and Nimba counties, my government will prioritize the renovation and restoration of the barracks in Bomi and Maryland counties. We must decongest the living quarters of our soldiers. The renovation is not intended to target anyone, but to offer decent housing to our soldiers and keep them fit and ready. This must be seen as a collective national duty. In this regard, the Ministry of National Defense will work with the Minister of State, Public Works, and other government line institutions to conduct an assessment on these facilities to begin renovation and all construction work. These projects are more than infrastructure. They are investment in dignity, guaranteeing that our soldiers and their families live in safe, decent, and supportive environment. A soldier who is dignified at home would defend our nation abroad. Military service often comes with invisible wounds. Trauma, stress, psychological challenges affect not only the individual soldier, but also their families and commitments. It is in this view that we extend our deepest appreciation to ECOWAS for its initial contribution towards constructing and operationalizing a mental health facility at the 14th Military Hospital. This facility represents a new frontier in our commitment to the well-being of our troops. My government pledges to ensure that the facility is completed and fully operationalized, serving only the AFL, but also a wider Liberian population. By addressing mental health, we have affirmed that resilience is not physical, but also psychological. A strong military is one that is prepared in mind as much as in body. Fellow Liberians, the future of the armed forces must be inclusive. We are proud to acknowledge and appreciate the support of SCS Foundation, which has committed funds to solely for the purpose of increasing female parity within the AFL. This should not be mistaken for being merely symbolic. It is transformative. Women bring unique perspective, skills, and strength to the military. Their presence enriches the institution and shows that the AFL reflects the full potential of our nation. We will continue to create pathways for women to serve, lead, and excel in every aspect of the military life. May I remind you and proudly to announce that my defense minister is female in this position. Liberia's security is inseparable from the security of West Africa. We extend heartfelt appreciation to you, Honorable Keynote Speaker, Major General Wadi Shaibu, Chief of Army Staff of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and your delegation. It is firmly in the history that Nigeria has stood with Liberia both in times of trial and triumph, offering solidarity, expertise, and friendship. Your support reinforces the teaching that peace is one nation, strengthen peace in the region. Together, we stand as partners against the challenges of instability, terrorism, and transnational threats. Liberia remains committed to regional cooperation, knowing that our collective strength is greater than the sum of our individual efforts. To the capstone program of the National Defense University of the United States in America, General Thomas D. Bosshurst, Professor and delegation, Liberia remains ever grateful for your participation in the 69 Armed Forces Day celebration. Your attendance is not only a testament of long-standing traditional diplomatic relations that our both countries enjoy, but it also represents the United States' commitment to safeguarding the peace and security in Liberia and West African region. Fellow Liberians, invited guests, as we celebrate Armed Forces Day, let us remember that the men and women in uniform are not only defenders of our border, but they are defenders of our future. They are defenders of our sovereignty. They embody discipline, sacrifice, and patriotism. To our soldiers, officers, and all members of the security institutions, Liberia salutes you. Your courage inspires us. Your sacrifice strengthens us, and your service unites us. Let us as a nation continue to support the armed forces of Liberia with resources, respect, and recognition they deserve, for in their strength lies our peace. God bless our nation, protect our men and women in arms, and save our state. Thank you.
Please be seated. The commander of troops will now request permission from the commander-in-chief to conduct the pass in review. Ladies and gentlemen, the commander of troops is now marching to request permission from His Excellency, Mr. President, who is being proxied by the Chief of Staff, Armed Forces of Liberia. Permission granted. Ladies and gentlemen, once more, to be a soldier is to represent the best of our nation. It is to embody selfless service, to strive in the hardship and sacrifice of an elite warrior class, to maneuver toward the sound of guns, and to ably shoulder heritage created by those who have gone before us. The commander of troops is now preparing his troops for the pass in review.
From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9. From the heart of Monrovia,
the commander
this is
of
Kear
troops
FM
for today's
95.9.
Armed Forces Day parade is Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Timothy Powell, Commander, 1st Infantry Battalion, 23rd Infantry Brigade. He holds a Master of Science degree in Defense and International Politics from the Ghana Institute of Management and Public Administration. Other members of the Commander of Troops staff include Captain Aloysius T. Quay, the Adjutant, Captain. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand as the President moves to the viewing stand for the pass in review. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes the Commander of Troops. He now renders a hand salute to the Commander-in-Chief. Please be seated. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes the Armed Forces of Liberia Band, colorfully dressed. A salute is rendered to His Excellency, Mr. President. Commanding 2nd Infantry Battalion is Major Harry Joe Jr. Commanding Alpha Company is First Lieutenant Jeff G. Bowen. The flag bearer is Sergeant Numba Sima, and the first sergeant is Staff Sergeant Jefferson Barkley. Commanding Bravo Company is First Lieutenant Josiah K. Innes Jr. The flag bearer is Sergeant Hawkeye M. Staff Sergeant Archibald Benedict. And the first sergeant is Staff Sergeant Archibald Benedict. Commanding the Liberia Coast Guard is Lieutenant Junior Grade. The first sergeant is P01 John C. Cooper. Sergeant is P01 John C. Cooper. It's P03 Nice William. It's P03 Nice. Commanding the Logistics Company is First Lieutenant Jeremiah Wallace. First Lieutenant Jeremiah Wallace. The first sergeant is Corporal Augustus Rouge, and the flag bearer is Corporal. The medical command is sending the medical command Lusu Sano. The first sergeant is Staff Sergeant Emmanuel Livingstone, and the flag bearer, Staff Sergeant Emmanuel Livingstone, and the flag bearer is Private Mutima. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the passing of the colors. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the passing of the colors. Forces training command.
From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9. From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9.
Commanding the paramilitary staff is Chief Inspector of Police, Princess D. Bavo. Commanding the Liberia National Police, Superintendent Danieline S. Pan. The flag bearer is Patrolman Rebecca Kofa, and the first sergeant is Patrolman Liliana T. Weah. Commanding the Liberia Immigration Service is Chief Inspector Patrick W. Doe. The flag bearer is Inspector Abigail Dober, and the first sergeant is Inspector Kelvin Torrey. Commanding the Liberia Revenue Authority Customs Department is Officer Sam S. Cooper. The flag bearer is Officer Aaron J. Johnson, and the first sergeant is Officer Charles J. Zuba. Commanding the Liberia National Fire Service is Major Emmanuel Parker. The flag bearer is Captain Jerry Diege, and the first sergeant is Captain Mimi J. Risse. Commanding the Liberia Drugs Enforcement Agency is Agent George S. Tier. The first sergeant is Agent Vanny K. Thomas, and the flag bearer is Darmalene Harris. Commanding the Monrovia City Police is Lieutenant Diana K. Pay. The flag bearer is Sergeant Patience Doma, and the first sergeant is Sergeant Gladys M. Wilson. Commanding the Bureau of Corrections is Sergeant Momo J. Ray. The flag bearer is Inspector Mimi W. Toe, and the first sergeant is Inspector Vasco Momo. Commanding the Liberia Seaport Police is Patrolman Eastman Crowd II. The flag bearer is Patrolman William T. Kakula, and the first sergeant is Patrolman Grace B. Jar. Commanding the Peaceville City Police is Sergeant Nathan T. Quinier. The flag bearer is Sergeant Julian Colley, and the Sergeant Major is Officer Ferris Popa. Commanding the Environmental Protection Agency is Inspector General Ara Bayama Brown. Commanding the Forestry Development Authority Park Rangers is Officer Joseph Saki. The flag bearer is Officer Sando T. Bakwe. Ladies and gentlemen, the Liberia Scout Association is commanded by Scout Master Abraham Howard. The flag bearer is Alex Mulba, and the first sergeant is Christopher J. Blamu. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes the Bobcat. Those are our future military personnel. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes the 69th Armed Forces Day Parade. And on behalf of His Excellency Joseph Weah Boakai, President of the Republic of Liberia and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Liberia, the Honorable Minister of National Defense, Brigadier General Geraldine George, retired, and the Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of Liberia, Major General Jefferson Weah, I thank you for gracing this occasion with your presence. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, His Excellency is going to take a look to inspect the first harvest from the Armed Forces of Liberia Agricultural Company. The first harvest from the Armed Forces of Liberia Agricultural Company. Several bags of rice. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Please be seated. Please be seated. Through the directive of His Excellency, Mr. President, the Armed Forces of Liberia Agricultural Company was activated. The mission of the company is to assist in food security. And the company has produced its first harvest.
From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9. From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, Mr. President, is greeting his guests.
From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9. From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9. From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9.
Ladies and gentlemen, His Excellency, Mr. President, continues to greet invited guests as well as present informal officials of government.
From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9.
Ladies and gentlemen, please remain in your position as His Excellency Mr. President departs the parade ground.
From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9. From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9. From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9. From the heart of Monrovia, this is Kear FM 95.9.
This is Kear Radio 95.9, the radio service of Kear Communications Network and Humanitarian Foundation, fully owned and operated by its CEO, Mr. Christopher Kear, and the Kear Humanitarian Foundation. And of course, you just listen to the Armed Forces Day, Liberia's, in fact, 69th Armed Forces Day celebration here on this FM dial. We're committed to informing the Liberian people, telling you, basically about happenings in this country. This is what we sign up to. This is what this radio is here for. For those of you who may not have the time or do not have the opportunity to be on social media to see these happenings, but you have the opportunity to listen to radio as well. And of course, you listen to the radio, and then yes, you hear what is happening also. All right, so that is it. Well, we take this short break, and I'll be right back. This short musical break, I'll be right back.
Yeah, oh Lord. When little not clear, they call your name. Late night tears on my pillow. Heavy heart that they walk alone. People promise but then fade out. Every smile hide pain line and show. Mama pray say, make a hold on. Papa voice still in my head. When the world turn against me.
From the Taurus Tower on the UN Drive, opposite the BTC Barry, this is Kear Radio 95.9. Don't touch it.
So I run to God when the night too long. When my heart not get the strength to be strong. I run to God when my tears they fall. Only you can hear me when I call. I run to God, I fall on my knees, say, Father, please, when the whole world don't turn their back, like you still love me like that. Street code, everybody they hustle, smile for outside, but pain inside. Them say be a man, don't cry, but them no waiting they my mind. Dreams broken, no hope, still breathing, face shaking, but I'm still believing, even when I miss my way. Your mercy can pull me back again. I've been down, I've been lost. Pay the price, count the cost. Through the fire, through the storm, you still there keep me warm. So I run to God when the night too long. When my heart not get the strength to be strong. I run to God when my tears they fall. Only you can hear me when I call. I run to God, I fall on my knees, say, Father, please, Father, please. When the whole world don't turn their back, like you still love me like that. If I lose it all today, still you be my everything. No other place I feel good, no other love will pure soul. Even when I know deserve, you they call my name, you they hold my hand. Grace upon grace, mercy on mercy. You never let me go. So I run to God when the road get dark, when the pain too much. I run to God. Now your love be the air I breathe. I run to God, tears in my eyes, hands in the air, heart open wide. Even if my voice they shake when I pray, I know you still they hear what I say. So in life no make sense at all. Run to God. When your strength don't finish, run to God. Yeah. Oh Lord. When later not clear, they call your name. Late night tears on my pillow. Heavy heart that they walk alone. People promise but then fade out. Every smile hide pain line and show. Mama pray say, make her hold on. Papa voice still in my head. When the world turn against me, like your light can't guide me. I tried money, I tried fame, still feel empty.